We bought this farm about 10 years ago, and when we first moved here, there was nothing here but an old house. And so this farm hadn't been worked in 60 years. We thought maybe we'd do some cows and hay, but we had no clue on what we would do. So that was our first thought. And then I got a call from a guy, Jason Teets, and he said, we have a high tunnel that we need set up. And I didn't even know what a high tunnel was. And so we put our first high tunnel up, and we got some plants from Lewis Jet, and we did a little trial. We had the same tomatoes and peppers inside and the same tomatoes and peppers outside. And we saw a dramatic difference. And the ones inside grew bigger and healthier and put on more fruit. And so that kind of said, well, maybe we ought to do something like that. And high tunnels really have extended our season. We had to look at what could we grow in the wintertime, and greens are a good seller for us. A lot of people like lettuces, spinach, kale, arugula, collards, Swiss chard, all those things we can grow in high tunnels, unheated, in the winter, all winter. And so, you know, our season, we could say, starts in the winter, and we grow all our greens. So, you know, we were hoping that we would have one thing that would cover 90% of the bills. In farming, we haven't found what that is. So we do vegetable sales. We sell vegetable starts. We do bedding plants. We do hanging baskets. We sell mums, pumpkins, all those different things, and they're all pieces to the puzzle. And so about 10 years ago, we had a golden retriever, and people wanted puppies. And so we started doing puppies. And now we do golden retrievers and golden doodles. And they help the farm be sustainable. And we have 5 breeding females, and probably going to increase that baby in years to come. We just love working with animals. You know, and for us at the farm, when we first got the farm, we were just doing vegetables and plants. And I always told Lisa, I said, my grandfather had a dairy farm, and a farm is not really a farm unless it have animals. And so we have chickens, and we have a donkey who's the, you know, he's kind of the star of our farm. Everybody knows, hey, they got a donkey up there. And we do dogs, and you know, everything has a place on the farm. Everything contributes. It's a working farm. So, you know, there's a purpose for kind of every animal at the farm. The season doesn't end. It just kind of morphs into something else. When we pull our outside crops, we got to leave ourselves enough time to put in cover crops. And we've gotten help with our cover crops because, you know, different organizations want to see the soil perform better. And if you just leave your fields bare and don't put a cover crop in, you're going to lose some of your soil here on the hillsides in West Virginia. There is resources out there that financially will help you. It's helped direct what we're doing. And so we've gotten grants here at our farm. They have allowed us to put gravel in so that we don't have mud roads. They've allowed us to do high tunnels where we can grow crops through the winter. We got one grant that allowed us to do rainwater collection. So on all our buildings, from our greenhouses to our high tunnels, we have gutters, and they provided the resources to plumb all those together, to collect them in tanks, and then redistribute the water to all our fields. And that was a grant that helped us with the engineering of that system, to providing the materials, and that has helped us get on a page where it saved us a ton of money.
So a group of us were recruited by our Northeast SARE coordinator, and we all met in Baltimore for a 3-day cover crop workshop to where we decided what we wanted to work on individually in each state. And we got to know each other and come up with a plan for the Sicklers and for our other producer down in the southern part of the state. The cover crop project was sort of a stimulus to get people interested in doing more cover cropping and getting better at the cover crop process and integrating it into their production systems. And we worked with a commodity farmer in the southern part of the state. And then up here, we worked with the Sickler farm to work with their vegetable production systems. And we primarily worked on no-till establishment of cover crops, and then termination of cover crops using a novel system, roller crimper, for them to plant their vegetables into in a no-till system.
We've always put some kind of cover crop in because we can't leave the soil bare during the winter time, and we don't want our little topsoil that we have here in West Virginia erode away. But working with the grant has shown us that your texture of the soil, that's important. You can't have compaction, you can't have nothing because it's all washed away. So the cover crop has showed us that it's important to care for our soil, and when we care for our soil, which helps make it healthy, have the right nutrients in the ground, which then causes your plants to be healthy, and then you have less pest problems.
You know, there's so many resources here in West Virginia. We have the university that has experts on everything you can think of. We also have extension agents that you just call them and they come to your farm. They'll help you do soil tests and give you ideas on what to do. There's small farms conferences that you can go to. There's workshops you can plug into. There's so many different resources that will help you. A gentleman that was working downtown, his name was Jason Teets, and his words to me, we're getting ready to set up a high tunnel, and he kept telling me, if we can get Lewis Jet here, that's what we need to do. And I said, get Lewis Jet here then. And so we were setting up our high tunnel. I had a bunch of volunteers and I was organizing that, and Lewis Jet came and he was talking to my wife and said, what are your plans for the farm? And we didn't have a clue on what we were going to do at the farm. And so that was the right answer for somebody that needs to do research. And so he helped us get all of the expertise that came along with the university. And so we were able to get connected to so many different people up at WVU to help us with soil testing and different seeds, different plants, and just the resources that we needed to be successful here at the farm.